Welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. Today is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, 10 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Today we're going to talk about the GoFundMe that's been set up to help deal with the estate of Andy Watkins, a.k.a. Cosmo Joe, who was taken from us so suddenly earlier this year. Obviously, he had a huge studio up there in Appleton. A lot of his artwork and projects were there. Obviously, Andy was a great artist, a wonderful artist. He was an entrepreneur. He was well respected and extremely well liked by everybody in the gaming community and even wider circles. He had an accident while out walking with a motorbike, ped bike. One of those struck him, and I guess it caused a head injury from which he did not recover. Within a couple days, he was gone. So, a tragic accident for someone who was young and really just continually on the rise as an artist. Studio 66 was a project he had. It was a company he had that made dice and pins and various other items for gaming and whatnot, and gaming adjacent things. He also had RPEX, which was a live action dungeon experience that he shared with people at conventions. You could go and walk through a sort of dungeon and solve puzzles, and kind of like an expanded escape room with a medieval fantasy theme. It was very, very popular. Sadly, all of that is now stalled, halted. I know Dennis, one of his best friends and right-hand man, who I contacted yesterday to double check, has told me that the web store is still functional, so I've got a link to that in the show notes, or we'll have a link to that in the show notes. And there is a GoFundMe set up to help handle not only expenses from the sudden medical tragic event, but also this huge warehouse studio that he had set up where he worked on everything and had so much of his artwork stored, and all of that needs to be dealt with in a respectful way. There's the idea possibly of having some sort of permanent installation maybe somewhere to show off some of his highlight some of his work as an artist. And I think a lot of people that helped him and worked with him would like to see some of his legacy go on with Arpex and with Studio 66, as difficult as that could be. But the fundraising will help settle all of those things, as well as help explore the possibilities of what can be done to keep the memory of Andy Cosmo Joe Watkins alive. Some of the dice I've mentioned on the show before include these fantastic DMing dice. One dealing with treasures, one with mood when you run into somebody. What is their reaction? The weather, and these fantastic little trap D12s. These were all very neat. You can go to the web store. I'll have a link in the show notes, as I said, and pick up scroll down. Make sure you scroll down far enough to see everything. And there'd be a whole section with dice. And if you go to the GMing dice, I think they're even on sale for $12 rather than their usual $20. So get a few sets and share them with some friends. All of that will help as well. But if you can go to the GoFundMe and donate some funds to help make this a lot easier on everybody that's dealing with it, that would be fantastic. I think I'll just leave it at that. I've got some construction that's going to be happening in the building here, so I don't want to dawdle until that goes in full force. I'm already hearing some stuff in the background here, and I don't know if it's going to make the rest of the recording here kind of difficult. So let's leave it at that. Memory of Cosmo Joe will be with all of us for the rest of our lives, and hopefully they'll be able to do some things with whatever is donated to make that true for everybody. So I will leave it at that and say thank you for anything you can do. So we were talking today about the GoFundMe for Andy Watkins, aka Cosmo Joe. Linked in the show notes. Check that out, and please do what you can to help. This show, the OK Grognard Show, streams live on Twitch each Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central, and it's archived on YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow, do all of those things. Comment if you like. It would be appreciated. I love constructive criticism. And, of course, support the channel, even at the free level, on patreon.com. It's very much helpful. Join such others as Tom Tullis of Fat Dragon Games, Carlos Slicing of Castle Entertainment, Heath Farden of the Indie D&D 20, Dave O'Brien, Unauthorized User, Dethangel Shadow, Heidi and Eric Gygax Garland of Gaxland, Vince Ragusa of the Maroon Room, an excellent prog rock band, Daniel Caldwell of Griffin and Gargoyle, Martin Thomas of Daddy Rolled a One, a great YouTube channel with some great content, Christian Garcia, Stephanie Lesniewski-Gruchow, Cera Toppilopkus, Colin Szablewski, and as always, Shane Bradley, DM Extraordinaire. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.